my wife went along, my daughter went along, she was about 2. We were making the drive back to the western edge of the state. I don't remember if we were living in Browns Valley then or if we were living up in Pembina. It was a long drive anyway from Mankato to wherever we were headed. And our daughter was plunked in her car seat in the back of the little Ford Festiva, and I got it up into overdrive, and I thought, well, if we can just have 2 or 3 hours driving without stopping, we'll be closer to our home. And so we began. 30, 40 miles out of Mankato, kind of in the middle of nowhere, at least the path we were taking. From the seat beside me came the words, "There's a kitten alongside the road." From the back seat came the word, "Kitty." "Stop," the duet said in unison. I said we didn't need another cat. They said it was just a little cat. Out in the middle of nowhere, we made this deal. We'd go back, and if there was a mother cat around there, which I was hoping there was, we'd leave the cat be. As I turned around, I looked, and it was a long way from any farm place, at least a mile. And I started thinking about the weekends, coming up on Memorial Day weekend, it's Friday before, maybe a family's going camping, maybe a cat escaped, maybe they just tossed the cat out, I don't know, maybe we won't see the cat, please don't let us see the cat, we're not in the cat rescue business. Today's reading from Jeremiah reminds me of all the times in life I've spoken the word no. Most times, excuses follow that word no. Most times that word no is couched in a yes. A yes, I'm really comfortable with the way things are now, even if they aren't so good. Yes, I really don't want to change. Says Jeremiah, the word of the Lord came to me saying, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. Says Jeremiah, sovereign Lord, no, I don't know how to speak. I am too young. The night I met the woman to whom I've been married for 26 years now, I said, no, I don't want to go to that church picnic, and I had reasons, and I ended up going anyway. Before I said yes to the call to ministry, I was very methodical about my college career plans. It started off at a community college that didn't require a speech class. And then I found Moorhead State and a couple others, and I had to choose between the colleges where I could transfer that AA degree in the first 2 years and still not have to take a speech class. A list of excuses to avoid that. There's nothing wrong with saying no sometimes if you're a yes person, but some of us aren't or weren't yes people. And we live in a world of no. No, it won't work. No, I've tried that before. No, heavens no, you can't expect me to do that. No, I don't like it, or I won't like it. No, I won't support it. Some people even manage to build a career in the media out of finding something new each and every day to say no about and encourage others to say no about. Today we hear that Jesus also tells his listeners that at one time there were a whole bunch of people ill in the land of Israel. And God did send a healer. And God chose to heal a man named Naaman from Syria, a foreigner, instead of the Israelites. And Jesus' listeners screamed, no, 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 no. And they literally drove Jesus up to the top of a cliff and tried to throw him off. When the followers of God say no, there can be deadly consequences. Well, we circled back in that little Ford Festiva. I expected that kitten would be gone, or the mother cat would be near, that somehow we would scare the kitten just by driving near it. As we parked where they had seen the kitten, it was still a long way to the farm, I saw. My wife opened her door, and this little kitten came bounding out of the ditch, and it was just a little one, leaped for all it was worth into the car, ran into the back seat, ran up my daughter's chest, and kind of perched on her shoulder and began to purr. There was no mother cat in sight. The best we surmised is somebody had tossed him off. He knew people. He was friendly with people. We ended up naming him Mercy. Mercy grew 3 foot from nose to tip of tail. And if Mandy would ignore him or play a little rough with him, he had this plan. He would sit and he would watch her as a toddler. When she would go running by, he would come running out from behind a piece of furniture and just bump her over. And she would laugh. My daughter and Mercy were inseparable until that day when cat years and people years ceased to match up. And Mercy reminded me, and still reminds me, that there are times God calls us to stop with the excuses and to let our no's become our yeses. A pastor recalls one Sunday morning at a church just like any other church gathering where there was a baptism. There were 2 baptisms, actually. One, a baptism of a child that was new to the church because the family was new to the church. The other, a baptism of a long-time family baby. And up front was the grandfather of the long-time family's baby. And after worship, there were the pictures, there were the greetings, and the mom of the baby that was new to the congregation needed something from her purse, and she said to the grandfather, "Could you hold my baby for a second while I dig out whatever, camera, whatever?" And she began digging in her purse, and people came and they were greeting and oohing out, eyeing over the babies, and they kept telling this grandfather, "Oh, you look good with that baby," and he would say, "Well, this one's not my baby. I'm just holding him for a time. He's not mine. He's not mine." Monday morning, the pastor of that church got a call from the grandfather. It was urgent, he said. He needed to meet immediately with the pastor, if not sooner. The pastor found himself thinking back, kind of replaying that baptism, trying to figure out, okay, what went wrong? Why is he upset? What's he going to tell me? How can I soothe whatever it is, but I don't even know what it is? When the elderly gentleman entered the pastor's office, there wasn't much in the way of niceties. He simply said, "I didn't sleep well last night." I couldn't stop thinking. I was holding that other family's baby. And I kept saying, no, the baby wasn't part of my family. And then the old man's eyes grew moist, and he said, "Yesterday, I realized something holding that other baby. I realized I had a Christian family. That baby was part of my family. That baby was part of my family as much as that blood baby, the other baby, was part of my family. I've been a member of this church for 40 years, and I've been taking those baptismal vows and claiming each child as a member of my family. I have a will, and I've left some things to my family, but I didn't even think of my church family. And I didn't even think of all the children in it, and all the babies in it, and all the babies that will be there for years to come. How can I leave something to the church? I need your help, Pastor." Jeremiah says no to God. But the Lord says to Jeremiah, "Do not say, 'I am too young. Go where I send you. Don't be afraid. I'll be with you.'" God has a specific plan for Jeremiah. And God has a specific plan for each of us. The plans aren't the same, but they have the same thing in common. Each of us is called to spread God's love a little farther, a little wider.